So what did I find? The earliest rolls I could get, the earliest electronic rolls were 25 years ago, 1985. And I also bought the rolls for 2009-10. So in comparing them, I could see that in 1985, a commercial property tax was contributing about 20% of the total, whereas residential, including commercial residential, multifamily residential was contributing about 80%. In the current rolls, the contribution of commercial has dropped to 9% versus 80% for residential and 1% of vacant land. And so what I saw was this drop from 20% down to 9%. And when I looked into the drop, there were factors like a net conversion of commercial and exempt land to residential, though there was also conversion of that to a commercial, residential and exempt to commercial. But net, there was about 3 or 4%, plus the value of the homeowner's exemption. But when you added these things in, there was still 5%, about half, that could be attributed directly to lack of turnover in commercial property for reassessment purposes. So I saw names changing as property passed to the children and the grandchildren of the original 1978 owners. I saw property that was in limited liability corporations and partnerships or regular corporations where the founder, the person who had owned these businesses in 1978 was no longer alive, but whose children and grandchildren were currently running the businesses. Or, in the case of, let's say, McDonald's, where, Franchise Realty owned it in 1978 and became part of McDonald's at some point and still is, and that's considered no change of ownership. So what I saw was this incredibly uneven playing field that had begun to develop, that has at this point become one where 40% of the parcels in our town are a 1978 basis, plus 2% a year. 20% of them actually changed hands in the last 10 years and are assessed at more or less current values. And about 40% of them are somewhere in between. So this means that about a fifth of the parcels are paying 5 times as much in property tax, are making 5 times the contribution to our local services that about 40% of the parcels are. And this kind of triggered something else. I started down this as a sort of fiscal exercise because I was puzzled where the property tax money had gone. But very quickly, having spent 20 years in business, very quickly I saw this as a market issue where the growing company, the new entrant into the field, has to deal with a $10,000 minimum barrier to entry every year right off the bat. And for larger parcels, this is $30,000 or $40,000. So it's not insignificant. It's not business friendly. It's not friendly towards the schools, the police, the fire, all the other things that our property taxes pay for. And 5% in a town like this is not insignificant either. So that's what I found.